Welcome back to the Hot Zone Sports Report with yours truly, Ryan Van Dever. And boy, do I have another banger for you this time. This time, we go down to Tampa, USF Bulls. The hidden gem in Tampa, quarterback Byrum Brown. Tampa, Florida is home to Byrum Brown, an impressive quarterback whose potential has raised expectations for the USF Bulls. With less than 100 days until the season begins, I'm continuing this series, highlighting offensive and defensive players to watch for during the season for each Group of Five program. Many people, including fans, aren't aware of some overlooked players, often referred to as diamonds in the rough. Get ready for an enjoyable journey. Continuing with our series, we will now shift our attention to the American Athletic Conference and specifically the USF Bulls, led by head coach Alex Golesh in his second season. During his initial season at South Florida, Golesh orchestrated the most remarkable transformation in the history of the USF program, achieving a 7-6 record and securing a resounding 45-0 victory against Syracuse in the Boca Raton Bowl. This achievement came after the Bulls had endured a dismal 1-11 season. The impressive improvement of 6 wins was the second largest in FBS football during the 2023 season, and it culminated in the biggest shutout victory ever recorded in NCAA Bowl history. Quote, "A year ago, there were no expectations," Gola said during a press conference. "It felt that all we were worried about was us and our process. The days of having no expectations have dissipated. In just 15 months on campus, the entire attitude around the program has changed. Yeah, USF has grabbed the attention of the national media, enough for one analyst to project them in next year's expanded football playoffs. Keep your focus on this particular player." Quarterback Byrum Brown. Currently, Byrum Brown is anticipated to be the starting quarterback once again. Brown achieved a milestone in his first year as a redshirt freshman, becoming the first USF player to throw for 3,000 yards in a single season. He ended the season with a total of 3,292 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Brown's running abilities were also impressive, as he rushed for more than 1,000 yards and led the team in that category. It's that dual threat ability that makes him such a dangerous threat on the gridiron. Brown's running ability sets him apart from all other quarterbacks on the roster and in the nation. The best comparison would be Jalen Milroe from Alabama. Brown is explosive. He is capable of doing it physically, and with a year of experience in Golesh's electric and high-powered offense, I believe you would agree that he will perform even better this year. Regarding redshirt sophomore quarterback Byrum Brown, there are numerous adjectives that can be used to characterize him: leader, winner, adroit, humble, captivating, electric. As many are aware, Brown had a remarkable debut season as a redshirt freshman. If one thing had to be focused on, it would be his size. He's described as lanky or slender, which could be a risky combination in college football. What actions did Brown take? Over the offseason, he added 15 pounds to now stand strong 220 pounds. Quote, "I feel good," Brown said. "I feel comfortable. I can't wait to get out there and play," end quote. Only two quarterbacks, Byrum Brown and Jaden Daniels, achieved the impressive feat of throwing for 3,000 yards and rushing for 800 yards last season. Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner from LSU, was one of them. Without a doubt, Brown has set a high bar, leaving USF fans eagerly waiting to see what he can achieve this season. Quote, "Byrum Brown is his own biggest critic, Golesh said. He spent so much time here in the football facility in January and February. We joke about it and call him Coach Brown. He's literally all day after he goes to class. End quote. It's safe to say by a long shot that Brown isn't just going to stay stagnant. He has the mentality of getting better day by day, and that is a player you want on your team. That type of mentality and focus can intoxicate the rest of your team. Quote, he's as critical as himself. He's as critical of himself as anybody, which makes him super easy to coach, Golesh said. I think of all the things he did really well. He'll tell you, man, the 11 interceptions, I got to clean that up. The fumbles, I've got to clean that up. End quote. The backstory. As Byrum Brown led Rolesville, North Carolina High School to the state championship game through a record-breaking senior year, Power 5 schools weren't calling. He engaged in discussions with North Carolina, NC State, and Wake Forest, but there was little genuine interest in the potential of him joining the team. According to Rolesville head coach Rainer Rackley, there were doubts among schools about Brown's ability to throw long passes, leading them to see him as more of a quarterback who relies on his running. However, South Florida remained persistent in their recruitment efforts. USF quality control coach Sawyer Jordan learned about Brown through Malik Frazier, the wide receivers coach at Brown's High School. During his unofficial visit to USF in 2022, Brown expressed that it had a genuine feel to it. They guided him through Tampa, Florida, and had him meet with some graduate assistants. Brown's exceptional performance in executing a 20-yard out route led to an instant offer from former head coach Jeff Scott. A few weeks later, Brown took an official visit with his mother. They went to Ocean Prime, a seafood restaurant where Brown indulged in a spread of shellfish, crab, shrimp, lobster, and oysters. He was sold. Quote, I knew I just needed an opportunity, Brown said. My parents said, whatever school gives you the opportunity, just go out there and make every other school in the country wish they offered you. End quote. And the rest is history. Brown has proven to himself, his teammates, and coaches alike that he is the foundation of this team, and the team will go how he goes. If healthy, this team has a high chance of being one of the G5 teams that can make it into the college football playoffs as it expands to a 12-team playoff. What's the outlook for USF? The Bulls had only won 4 games in 3 seasons before Alex Golesh joined last season. They turned things around South Florida to a 7-6 record and their first bowl victory in 6 years. With Byrum Brown as a consistent presence in the offense, the Bulls have the necessary resources to compete in the AAC. The dynamic dual threat quarterback exhibits a better escapability than any quarterback in college football, and he's a stellar passer too, churning out 4 300-yard performances with a 26-11 touchdown to interception ratio. The offense's major challenge is the overwhelming amount of pressure he will encounter. Although South Florida's offensive line made progress after Brown endured 22 sacks in the first 5 games last season, there is still a need for additional refinement in pass protection to establish the Bulls as serious competitors against Tulane and Memphis. The lineup for the USF Bulls in the coming fall is still undecided, but what is definite is that Byrum Brown will be in charge. With a player of his skill level, it's no surprise that the Bulls have raised the hopes of both fans and analysts alone. Scouting report. There are a lot of thoughts about the electric prospect. Pro Football Network had plenty to say about Brown. Byrum Brown is eligible for the 2025 NFL Draft, but he could ultimately be a 2026 prospect. Still 19 years old, Brown is coming off a 2023 campaign at South Florida in which he passed for 3,292 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, while also running for 809 yards and 11 scores. At around 6'3", 209 pounds, Brown's talent pops off film. He's an explosive, energetic athlete for his size with a crisp and compact release. Mechanically, there are still ways to help him to improve, but he has the raw talent and prototypical ability to fuel an early round ascent. On August 31st, the USF Bulls will start their season by playing against Bethune-Cookman. Stay tuned. We appreciate the time you've taken to read this article and hope you'll stay for future updates. By subscribing, you'll be sure to receive notifications about new content, particularly if you found this piece enlightening. Remember to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for the latest sports breaking news updates throughout the day. P.S. We're running a survey at the moment that allows you to give direct feedback to the Hot Zone Sports Report. Click the button above to complete the survey. I'd be extremely grateful if you would. Thanks again for supporting the Hot Zone Sports Report. Your subscriptions make this site possible. And if you're new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button and join a community that shares your enthusiasm for sport. Questions, article ideas, angry missives, and more can be sent to me at Hot Zone Sports on Twitter/X. And that is it for today's article. I hope everybody has an immaculate Tuesday. And that is it. Hot Zone Sports Report, logging off. Peace.